Welcome to the Better Workday Podcast with your host, Niamh Moynihan. We are often told that when it comes to getting work done, be that professional work or work around the house, that consistency is key. But maintaining a work schedule, levels of quality, or just completing certain tasks can be very difficult. Niamh, what are some ways we can be more consistent in our work?
Hello, and welcome back to the Better Workday Podcast. How are you doing? This week, I'm talking about consistency at work. It's a topic that I'm covering in a few weeks' time at a keynote. And by the way, quick side note, if you do want to work with me in 2025, you can find my contact details in the show notes. And while I was preparing for this talk, it occurred to me that consistency is never easy. Everyone agrees it's a good thing to have, to be consistent in your approach to work and maybe to a fitness routine or a healthy eating routine. But I think a lot of people would agree with me that it's a lot easier said than done. And I think maybe it's because of the things that we are trying to be consistent in. I never find it hard to be consistent in talking to my favourite people at work. I never find it hard to be consistent in reaching for a biscuit after the kids go to bed. But when it comes to what I call the ugly work, I can find 101 reasons not to do it. And ugly work to me is anything that is boring or tedious. It could be work that you find stressful because maybe you're not used to doing it, you don't feel experienced, or you don't feel like you have all the skills, or maybe it's challenging in some other way and it's just not appealing to you. And this is the work or the tasks that always falls down when it comes to consistency. And funnily enough, these are often the key tasks in getting your work done. So I don't know about you, but perhaps you've felt this feeling before when you're not doing what I call the ugly work and you feel uneasy. Like you know that you're missing something in your working day or working week. You know that you're not doing everything you should. And then as soon as you do those tasks, you feel better because you know that they are key cornerstone tasks in your job, whatever they are. So these are the things that we want to be consistent in. And of course, these are the things that we avoid at the first excuse. They're the prime candidate to get dropped when anything else gets in the way. So what can we do? How can we make consistency easy? Well, I think the first thing to do is we have to choose what to be consistent about. Nobody is consistent in everything at work. It's impossible because every job is somewhat reactive or responsive. We don't work in a bubble. There are always things that are going to come up and get in the way. And so we can't expect to do everything at the same time, all the time, from now until the day we retire. And what I see is a lot of people try to be consistent about too many things. And then it's very hard to prioritise which one to do in a busy day or a busy week. And so I'd like you to imagine an inverted pyramid. And at the very top, the widest part, you could imagine all the things that you could do. Okay? So these are all the tasks and activities you could do in a given week. And then the second layer of that pyramid filters down and we look at all the things you should do. So this is the work that if you do it, you expect to achieve your goals, you expect to achieve your outcomes. And a lot of people stop here and try to make all this stuff consistent. But I want you to go one level further and identify the things you must do. So there are usually a small number of tasks, and if you do them consistently, you are halfway there to achieving your goal. So for example, we'll take marketing, because I'm a small business owner, I wear many hats, and marketing is a fantastic tool to help grow business, but it can take up so much time. I could do so much in terms of marketing. I'm talking about video, audio, like podcast, text, all the different channels like YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, blogs. There's SEO, there's partnerships, there's being a guest, there's traditional media. There is so much I could do. But sure, I can't do all that. So then we go down to all the things I should do. And this is the trap that a lot of people fall into then, because we start listening to other people perhaps and getting tempted by following trends, either within our team or looking at other teams or maybe looking at other organizations. So for example, maybe I think I should do a lot of video content because that's very popular at the moment. But if I drop down one layer further, the things I must do are honestly deliver this podcast, because this is the main way that I share advice and help you get to know me and reach a wider audience. So there's no point in me doing all the coulds and the shoulds if I don't do the must. And you can apply this to your own role, and I hope you take a few minutes to do that. And once you have your must do's, then I think it's really important for you to understand the impact of that work. Like, is it worth it? Does it really make a difference? Does it help you achieve your goals, or does it help you move your business forward? And if it doesn't, does it really have to be consistent in the way that you're looking at it now? So, for example, I could do a podcast every day or twice a week. There's no need for it. Once a week is perfect. It's plenty for the impact that I'm trying to create. And so for the tasks that you must do, understand what the benefit of them is, understand what the risk is if you don't do it at all, and then maybe take a look at the frequency and is that aligned. The next step for me is to create an MVP, or minimum viable plan. I borrowed this from the world of product development and design, where people look at minimum viable products, that first version that allows people to get going in terms of creating something new. And so the minimum viable plan includes the essential steps, the very basic steps that are required in order for you to be consistent in delivering it. And here you want to really challenge yourself to have as few steps as possible, maybe no more than 3 to 5. And if it's bigger than that, well, then that's 2 tasks. And this makes sure that you are not making the work overly complex or overly complicated. And that might make you procrastinate on doing it if you're short on time on a particular day or in a particular week. The MVP allows you to stay focused on getting the job done or getting the task done. The final thing I would say to make it easier, to make consistency easy, is to seek extra support when you need it. So that might be accountability, that might be encouragement, that might be getting help from somebody, whatever that looks like. Always remember, you can ask yourself, who can I ask for help, or where can I get help from, and see where that leads you. Now that all sounds great, but what happens when you just don't do it? So, you've taken note of all these steps and you're like, yes, Niamh, they sound great. And you start next week and you are full of plans and then it doesn't happen because something truly does get in the way. I think that persistence is the key to consistency. And what I mean by that is, if you fall down, get back up. Keep going. So what if you have a bad week? Try again next week and start building the habit of doing that work and getting more confident in doing it and maybe enjoying the process even more as well. With that being said, there might be some things that you're just not going to do. If you have said for months and months and months you're going to do something consistently and you're just not going to do it, then I think it's time for you to be honest about that and to see what can be done instead. So first of all, I'm going to ask you to check, does it really need to be done? If it does, are you the best person to be doing it? Maybe you can delegate it or outsource it to somebody else. And finally, is there an alternative? Is there another way you can do it? So for example, for me, I switched from a lot of short form content to the podcast. And that allows me to show up more consistently than I ever have before. What can you do? What's your alternative that will help you achieve the result you're looking for? And finally, if it does need to be done and you believe you are the best person to do it and there is no alternative, I suggest you do the task for at least 2 minutes. Just to begin, set your alarm and say at this time I'm going to do the work for 2 minutes, and you'll be surprised what would happen once you get going. And maybe have a listen to episode 17 on procrastination for more ideas how to get started when you really don't want to. That's about it for this episode. I hope it has got you thinking about how you can make consistency a little bit easier. As always, I would appreciate it if you shared this with a friend or colleague who might find it helpful. And until next time, stay well and have a better workday.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. The Better Workday podcast is about helping you have a better workday. So we'd love to hear your thoughts and questions. You can find our social media details as well as any references from this episode in the show notes.